What's good? What's good? What's good? Hope everyone's having a blessed Sunday. Blessed Sunday afternoon, that is. This is another installment of the Southern Baller Show. Of course, shout out to the mighty LDBC. You know I have my right hand men with me. Oh, of course, I have Coach 67 Sports TV. What's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot. I'm blessed and highly favored. How y'all gentlemen doing this afternoon?
Can't complain at all, man. And JB, how you doing? You on mute, bro.
Just like Coach said, man, enjoying my Sunday, man. Blessed and ready to start the show.
I can't hear y'all gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. On mute. No. I was talking to Jerry.
Oh.
Yeah, I was on mute, my bad. Because I would have to deal with something. But anyway, J6, appreciate you, man. Another good content creator. But let's get into it, man, because I'm going to try to keep this show short. Because I have stuff to do afterwards. But those who don't know, there was a boxing card that happened yesterday, Saturday, with Jaron Ennis and Stanionis for the 147-pound. Was it like unification?
Yeah,
For the unification. So one had the belt, one had a belt for the 147, one of them had the other belt, the IBF or the IBO, whatever, or WBO, excuse me. But leading up to this fight, a lot of people were worried about Boots, Jaron Ennis, because of him having a bad habit of getting hit a lot, especially during the Kyren fight. I'm not going to dare try to say his last name. But there was this very scrappy technical boxer, Jaron Ennis fought twice before this fight. And he did okay, but the Kyren dude was a lot of people thought it exposed a lot regarding his defense. So with this Stanionis character, he's, always walking forward, very good power for the weight class. So a lot of people were worried. If you didn't watch the fight last night, I'm gonna tell you, Boots looked great. He stopped homie, made him where he didn't even want to get out for the 6th round, get off the stool for the 6th round, and it was a statement. It was a statement to the haters anyway. I wasn't surprised. I knew he was gonna. I didn't know when, but I knew he was gonna win. Brent Fox, salute, brothers. Brent Fox did a great job on It's Just Me show on Thursday, giving his recap regarding this fight. So I want y'all to go check it out when you got a chance. Or not recap, but who he thought was going to win and how. But salute J Bar, salute to the family. But it was he went to the body because he noticed that Stanionis has a high guard and leaves the body open. And on the 5th round, homeboy took a knee because Boots gave him multiple shots to the ribs and sat his ass down.
His body work. Yeah, his body work was beautiful.
Yes. So long story short, Stanionis didn't want to come out for the 6th round. Boots got the win. But my question is, you know who been wanting to face Jaron Ennis? That's Brian Norman Jr. Salute to the general, 78 Sports TV. He did a interview, which y'all can check it out, this morning with Brian Norman Sr., the dad. Wasn't Junior on there as well?
Nah, just the pops.
Okay, just the pops, and they want that fight. They want the smoke. And Brian Norman Jr. is a hungry young fighter with power, knocking out everybody. So we definitely want to see that fight. But Coach, going to you, man, what you think about Boots' performance last night? And do you think that Norman Jr. fight is going to eventually be made?
In fact, hey, I got to take care of something real quick. Go to JB first, bro.
No problem. JB, what you think?
Well, first of all, congratulations to Boots, man. Boots Ennis, man. Like you said, perfectly, it was a statement. Stanionis is a good champion. He was one of them fighters where he pressure you and keep that jab on you. I was just shocked that Boots out jabbed him and was hurting him with the jab, and then had beautiful body work. Like you said, he stopped him. He didn't want to come out. I think his team did a smart thing for Stanionis because you can damage your feet. They saw that he was not going to win that fight. He was just going to be damaged and assaulted and abused if he kept going. However, as far as Brian Norman Jr., I like the fight. I think Brian Norman Jr. just had to win himself. He stopped his opponent as well. A solid opponent. And it's a good fight. I wouldn't mind. I actually probably would pay to see that fight. So.
Absolutely. Coach, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. You got the mic. What you think about Boots' performance, and you think he's going to fight Norman Jr. in the possible future?
Well, on my channel, I picked Boots to win, but one accident I made because I touched on so many topics was the fact that I didn't pick how I thought Boots was going to win, and I thought Boots was going to win a split decision. But truthfully speaking, I'm not gonna lie, he exceeded my expectations because like you said, the two fights with Kyren, the first fight with Kyren just ran. He boxed, he moved, he got on his bicycle, woo. And a lot of people was criticizing Boots for not being able to cut off the ring. Then in a rematch, Kyren came forward. So I think it kind of caught Boots off guard, and Boots really was trying to knock him out. And I think the mistake Boots made when he fought against Kyren was the fact that he really was looking for the knockout. So that's one thing, I was clear about, like, Boots cannot go into this fight with Stanionis looking for a knockout. And, Stanionis is a pressure fighter, real technically sound. But like I said in my pre-fight prediction, is I felt that Boots was a better athlete and he was a better outboxer. I felt like in terms of mid-range and inside fighting, dirty boxing, I felt like Stanionis was better in those areas. But Boots clearly exceeded my expectations. He put the jab on Stanionis, and he, like y'all said, he did good work to the body. But I think the thing that really kind of was the difference was the fact that Stanionis didn't have nothing for Boots in terms of from a power standpoint. Like, he couldn't hurt Boots. And then after that, when Boots really came to realization, like, hey, he hit me clean a few times and he really couldn't hurt me, it was all she wrote. Boots kind of kicked it in overdrive and he took it to the next level and he really got after him. And, that pretty much was all she wrote. Now, in terms of Brian Norman Jr., I'm going to keep it a buck. I really legitimately believe that Jaron Boots Ennis versus Brian Norman Jr. is a fight that should be for undisputed. I really want Brian Norman Jr. to go and get Mario Barrios belt. But the thing I can't stand about boxing is Mario Barrios is holding that up and belt hostage. He's holding it hostage. He's trying to get him a mega fight with Manny Pacquiao, who's done. Like, bro, like, come on, man. Just give up your strap and let Brian Norman Jr. put BTA. You know what I'm saying? Or even if you fought Boots at this point. Like, he know it's going to be BTA. He don't want no smoke. So, since he holding the belt hostage and he running, he ducking, he hiding like a coward, then I wouldn't mind seeing Jaron Ennis against Brian Norman Jr. But in my personal opinion, I think that particular fight should be for undisputed. Because I think if either one of them get in the ring with Mario Barrios goes night-night. So, I definitely want the Brian Norman Jr. I want the Brian Norman Jr. Jaron Boots in this fight, but I think it should be for undisputed. Mario Barrios need to quit holding that goddamn belt hostage.
I agree. I definitely agree. JB,
Agree.
You got any final words regarding this topic? Or Coach?
Hey.
Nah, that was it for me, bro.
Like I said, yeah, man, that was a great fight for Boots' statement. And I'm glad that both of the brothers, Brian Norman Jr. and Boots, is getting some shine. This is a bright future for boxing. So.
Yes. Oh, but trust, Coach. It's gonna catch up with Mario Barrios. Trust me. Of course, the champions of that weight class, he's the weakest. So yeah. In
fact, in all actuality, I believe Stanionis beats him, and he knows that. On the undercard of the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, he fought, and he was very unimpressive. I thought he lost that fight, to be truthful. So Mario Barrios, he knows he's fooled. That's why he's playing keep away, and he's trying to hold that belt hostage.
Right. And what up, 86 Goats, aka Brandon? What's going on, brother? Appreciate you always supporting, always in here, man. I appreciate all y'all, man. Yeah, make sure y'all hit my like button. Those who are new coming in or catching the replay, make sure you subscribe if you like what you're hearing. Appreciate all y'all. But moving on, man. So, and Coach, you know I'm going to you, Louisiana boy. Up your, you got all the news fluctuating around you and in your area around regarding this issue or this unfortunate event. Those who don't know, former all-star or go-to wide receiver for LSU, Kyren Lacey, is basically deleted, or he's no longer with us, unfortunately. So, first of all, I want to say rest in peace to the young man. Rest in peace. Man. Yeah, this is hard. Okay, so this situation, I ain't gonna lie. It's frustrating to deal. It irritates me. To the point where I want to see how I want to approach it. So
let me help you out, bro. Let me help you out.
Let me say this, and I'm gonna hand it to you.
All right.
Allegedly, he deleted himself. Okay, regarding to possibly not be able to handle the possible allegations coming his way. And how he got in that situation. He got in a car accident, which an elder gentleman was killed. So he was set
deleted.
Thank you.
Unalived.
Deleted. Unalived. And he was basically set up to go to court and from what everybody's saying, he couldn't handle it and deleted himself. So condolences to the family. Um, okay, and also condolences to the old man who lost his life. But we're talking about Kyren Lacey. So, Coach, go ahead and take it over, man. I just hate to hear news like this. This young man had a future. He made a mistake, but it didn't have to go out. He didn't have to go out like that, or whatever happened, man. I'm just sad. Just a young man this talented. Story ended like this. You feel me? It's hard, man. But before you get started, man, I want to introduce one of my other brothers and hosts of the show, LDBC Business, Big Joe Townsend. What's going on, brother?
What's going on with everybody? Salute to the family. How y'all doing on this Sunday?
All is well. Salute,
All
Big
is
Joe.
well, man.
What's up, Big Joe?
What's goody? What's goody?
Yeah, man. And then we're gonna come back to you with your. I want to get your opinion on the Stanionis versus Boots fight. With your opinion on it, but Coach, go ahead and take it over.
All right. So what transpired with Kyren Lacey? As we all know, first and foremost, RP to Kyren Lacey. Prayers and condolences are with his family. And what transpired is, like the week before Christmas, he got in a car accident. I don't know if he had been drinking or he was under the influence in any type of way. He ended up getting in a car accident, and he deleted an elderly gentleman, a Caucasian gentleman, like the week before Christmas. And the issue that he had that made his situation even worse is he fled the scene. He didn't call 911. He didn't try to help or aid the situation in any type of way. He didn't perform CPR or anything. He just fled the scene, and that made his situation it compounded it so much. And as a result, the elderly gentleman's family, they were pushing for the maximum punishment to the maximum extent of the law. The parish that this transpired in is in Lafourche Parish. For those individuals that don't know, if y'all heard of Nicholls State University, is in that same parish, in a particular area that it transpired in. It's a predominantly white area. And just like the situation with, Carmelo Anthony, a young man who, had an incident at the track meet in Texas. This is a racially driven incident in terms of, had the shoe been on the other foot, had it been a young white kid, fleeing the scene after unaliving a elderly black gentleman, it wouldn't have been as much smoke in the city, to speak. So to speak. So basically his trial was coming up. I mean, he was looking at a lot of prison time, and he literally was on the verge and on the cusp of literally creating generational wealth for his family and putting them in so much better situation. He went from that point to where now he looking at so many years in prison. It's like a complete 180. And from a mental health standpoint, he really couldn't handle going from being able to set his family up financially and create generational wealth to making a complete 180 and looking at several years in prison. So I don't think he was able to deal with that in terms of from a mental standpoint. And as a result, he unalived himself. His family has confirmed that he's no longer with us. He's deceased. And a lot of people that I've known, they've been putting pictures of him on their Facebook stories, their Instagram stories, so on and so forth. So yeah, it's definitely been confirmed. And RIP to him is an unfortunate situation. I felt like the way he handled it, I don't think that's the way he should have dealt with it because, like we was talking behind the scenes is, in many instances, situations look one way and they don't always turn out that way. I'm the type of person I walk by faith, not by sight. So he might have looked like he was looking at a difficult situation and it was an uphill battle, but we don't know how things would have turned out. And even if he would have
Right.
went to prison for some years, whatever the case may be, I mean, just think of all the people that went to prison. They came out, they might have started a business or a YouTube channel, and they doing well on the other side of they storm. So at the end of the day, I don't agree with the way he handled the situation. However, rest in peace to him. Prayers and condolences to his family. It's just a sad and unfortunate situation.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, man. I hate to hear, especially young black man going out like this, man, and having the world at his feet, and then he make a mistake, and then just not really know how to handle it or mentally deal with it, and just possibly this happening. JB, what's your thoughts on it? I know you were like me. You wasn't at first. Didn't have. You just knew he is no longer with us when we received the news this morning. But after hearing the detailed information, what's your thoughts?
I think it's a sad situation. He had so much to live for. He made a mistake, a terrible mistake, especially just fleeing the scene. And then, people turning it to a racial thing at the end of the day. What's made it work, and he's in Louisiana. So that makes sense as far as why it turned that way. So I think he probably just thought he ruined his life and didn't see, any way out of it, and I guess, and this is very important to have people around you, uh, certain people around you to help you make certain decisions. Especially a decision like that anyway, from hit and run and, you know, um, how you drive. People, we talk about these kids getting all this money, and some of them probably ain't that good drivers, and they getting all these cars. And I'm not gonna go into that. I'm just saying
Yeah,
that this is just a bad. It's important to have certain people around you. Um, he probably was scared. He probably thought he ruined his chance of getting drafted. And sad situation for him and the older gentleman that lost his life in the car crash, the hit and run.
yeah, man. It's unfortunate. And salute to Memphis man Anthony Bolton and my brother, Growing with Soul. Salute, good brother, man. Appreciate both y'all brothers always supporting. Appreciate y'all, man. Um, I gotta go to Big Joe. Um, who's actually been in the college atmosphere as a player. Um, what are your thoughts just listening to this and young player being involved in college, being involved in a situation like this? What comes to your mind? Comes to your mind?
Yeah, first of all, rest in peace to Kyren Lacey. Yeah, it's definitely a
Yes,
tragic
sir.
situation, that the brother, decided to, he was dealing with so much to where, he his only way out was to do something to himself. So that's always unfortunate, whether if they're a college athlete or not. Just the fact that a young man decided to go that route is always hard to see. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm aware of his prior issues. I know that he had court actually on Monday. So he probably could have. Who knows what he was thinking. It's just unfortunate that he felt like he probably didn't have any mentors to go to, have anybody that he could lean on in this situation, because there's several examples of NFL players or players making mistakes and then also having a second chance at life. You have like the brother Henry Ruggs, he's about to get out. You know what I mean? From his doing his hit and run and he killed that lady. You know, he about to get out and he's looking at making an NFL splash. Um, forgot the brother's name. He was a wide receiver. He got like he kept getting caught smoking weed and he kept getting chance after chance. I forgot the brother's name. You know, Ray Lewis had an incident where he was looking at doing jail time and he was able to get out and that situation to do with his career. You know, there's
Josh
several.
Gordon.
Josh Gordon, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Josh Gordon got chance after chance after chance. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. There's definitely examples that he can lean to. I know he was a first round pick. He's a first round talent. You know what I mean? So he would have got an opportunity. You know, depending on probably how his case would have been. You know,
And
but
Big Joe,
it.
let me throw, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, because what you're saying just
Hmm.
reminded me of a name that me and Coach and JB were talking about offline. Dante Stallworth.
Yeah, yeah.
You remember he had a situation where he
Hmm.
had a hit. Well, it wasn't a run. I'm not sure if it was a hit and a run, but he hit somebody, deleted somebody with
Hmm.
his vehicle, and he was able to have a career after that.
I mean, I know we can go. We can go into that. We can go into Michael Vick. Michael Vick had this situation to where he ended up actually going to prison and came back and still able to continue his career. You know, so it's unfortunate that he couldn't have the talk to anybody to talk about, you know, the redemption factor. And yeah, you made a mistake, and rest in peace to the elder who passed away. But there's also redemption at the end of that. It's not easy, but there's,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, there's another side, as long as you do the work. You know,
exactly.
so um, yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, I know Coach was talking about, you know, the aspect of him making it to the league and making generational wealth. That's always important, you know, but it's the fact that him continuing his life, because no matter how much money you make, if you're not around, none of that stuff really matters, you know. So there's the fact that his mom can't see him no more, his cousins and uncles can't see him no more because he felt like there was no way out. You know, it's unfortunate. Um, you know, so I know his family's not going to find comfort in this, not for a long time. They might never understand because anytime somebody does something like that to himself, you never have any answers.
Right.
I ain't hear nothing about a manifesto or anything like that, you know, but you know what I mean? You just don't have any answers. Like, for example, I had a high school teammate. Um, he didn't do anything to himself, but while our last year of high school, we won a championship our year and he went to spring break and he ended up getting killed in spring break. You know, he got hit by a
Mm,
car and was killed. And he had good news waiting for him. You know, the our head coach was going to tell him that he was waiting for a scholarship offer. So
mm.
his coach was going to tell him, when he got back, hey, you got two offers from so and so. Just want to let you know. He was going to wait to tell him when he got back, but he never did because he was taken. You know what I mean? So still to this day, his dad, doesn't, have any answers and trying to figure out, why was my son not able to fulfill his dream of playing college football?
Mm.
Not saying he would have made it to the league, but just to have a scholarship, just have any scholarship to play, in college, that's a lot of people can't do that, so his son wasn't able to fulfill that dream. So a lot of times in situations, people just feel empty and feel like there's no answers and nothing you can say can make anything feel better. So I pray for the family. Rest in peace, Kyren Lacey. And if anybody needs somebody to talk to, hopefully you can have somebody in your family or you can always seek professional help. I know he was in his situation, did his agent know what he was thinking? His agent could have had him seek counseling. There's a suicide hotline. There's so many things,
Yes.
nowadays to where it can help you out with this stuff. So I encourage anybody, if you feel like just anybody, if you feel like having those thoughts, please reach out to somebody,
Yes.
you know what I mean, to get your thoughts out. Whether it's your homeboy, whether it's your uncle, whether it's you seeking a therapist, talk to somebody, so you can help navigate, your decisions because
Yeah.
taking your own life is never the answer because not only do you obviously harm yourself, you hurt your loved ones by leaving them have an empty void and not have an answer. So yeah, rest in peace, Kyren Lacey.
Yes, man. Well said, Big Joe. Definitely, man. If anybody who's listening to this or come across this show and you have thoughts like this, man, talk to somebody. Like Big Joe said, talk can be a pastor. If you don't trust pastors, somebody you trust, man. That's somebody you trust that when you share what's on your mind, your business not gonna come out there, because they talk too much. But somebody you trust, man. So definitely, man. JB, did we get your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, man. It's just, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it's just sad, man.
it is. It is. But rest in peace to Kyren Lacey. And since Big Joe is on the panel, I want to go back to the Boots and Stanionis fight. Uh, so I'm gonna present the question to you. What were your thoughts on the Boots performance? And do you think that a future fight with Brian Norman Jr. will be made?
Yeah, we're going to fight. It was a great fight. Boots had a lot of questions that he needed answered. A lot of people, were on the Boots train. He had a couple lackluster performances, and everybody hopped off. And then it's funny now, Boots got all these imaginary haters. I don't know how you can hate somebody who don't even really talk. But anyways, uh, but you know, yeah.
Right.
So Boots definitely had a lot of things that he needed to show, and Boots showcases talent. Now, Stanionis ain't no hope. Stanionis is a tough fighter. He's a champion at 147. A lot of people duck Stanionis because he's a hard-nosed, tough fighter who comes forward. He's a bully. He's going to be in your face, pressuring you all night. So, and Boots understood that. A lot of folks were saying, oh, man, he looked weight drained. Oh, man, he looked this and this. And Boots went in there and put on an absolute showcase. He was killing him with the jab. He was killing him with the feet work. He was killing him with his athletic ability. And who knew? Boots was a little bit of a showman. Boots was doing a little showboating, doing a little stuff. You know what I mean? Being entertaining. Because again, boxing is entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you like it or not, boxing is entertainment. If you like Conor McGregor, then hell, you should love Boots Ennis. You know what I mean? So he was definitely doing this thing. He was dogging him and also entertaining at the same time. So that definitely wasn't a boring fight. It was not that Stanionis wasn't good. It wasn't that Stanionis wasn't a worthy opponent. Boots just made him look average. Every once in a while, you will have fighters who will make their opponents look like they don't belong in there. Perfect example was Devin Haney and Kambosos. Devin Haney was killing Kambosos with just a jab the whole night. Just a jab. Kambosos cannot get past that jab. You know what I mean? So there's just some fighters who just have that ability. And Floyd had that ability too. When Floyd fought Canelo, Floyd made Canelo look like he don't belong in the ring. So, and Boots Ennis is a tremendous talent. So he made Stanionis bleed. He made him made his nose bleed and everything. His corner, the fact that his corner stopped the fight let him know that okay, when I saw his corner hugging him, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's a wrap. So, it was just too much for Stanionis. You know what I mean? So shout out to Boots. He definitely should be on a pound for pound list. He showcased that, he's multidimensional.
Mm.
He can be southpaw. He can switch his stance. He can kill you with a jab. He has lightning speed. He has great footwork. He can get out, he can pivot out of anything. He has a nasty uppercut. The 3-shot uppercut that knocked down Stanionis was nasty. And he's a showman. So what is there not to love about Boots? So if somebody's hating on Boots, you're just a natural born hater. There's nothing really to hate on Boots about. Boots don't talk. Boots don't pretend to be nobody but himself. All he does is put the work in the gym and kick it with his pop. So what is there not to like about it? You dig what I'm saying? So if you ain't liking Boots, something wrong with you. But again, it seemed like the fighters who daddies and trainers get haters anyway, but that's a whole other conversation. So
Mm.
but
Mm.
should Boots get fight Norman? Now I heard 78's interview with Norman's father. I'm a little conflicted. Sound like they want to fight. Sound like they don't want to fight. Like we ain't chasing them, but if it's there, we might take it. We ain't waiting, but we ain't gonna wait on them, but we'll see whatever. So I think that'll be a good fight. You get two, athletic black fighters, you know what I mean? And Brian Norman hits real hard. Everybody's questioning Boots Ennis, his chin. Boots Ennis has a chin. He took several shots from Stanionis, and he didn't waver. He didn't panic. He stuck to the game plan. That lets you know just how good of a fighter he is. He took his best shots. Now everybody's saying Boots Ennis get hit too much. I mean, well, damn. You don't know if he got a chin or not unless you get hit. so you can't say he get hit too much and say he has a chin. You can't say he boring, but then say he's entertaining. You can't say, he's this or that, but then he stops the guy, makes him quit. All of a sudden now, oh, well, Stanionis wasn't that good. All right, whatever. Anyways, I think that'll be a good fight. I think the fight that I really want to see is Boots versus Virgil Ortiz. That's what I want to see. Because Virgil Ortiz has been hyped up to this kind of guy. He ducked Boots at 147. So now he at 150. Now he at 154, feeling himself. Everybody's on the Virgil Ortiz train. That's a fight I want to see. Because Boots kind of sucked himself down to fight at 147, but at 154, you think he was styling at 147? Let him be a healthy 154 to counter with that same speed and that same footwork. Virgil can't do nothing with that, and Virgil come forward just like Stanionis. So that uppercut gonna be there all night. That's the fight I want to see. Again, shout out to Boots in there, shout out to Bozy. Father and son combination. Love to see.
If I could, real quick, Big Joe, tell everybody about the Usual Suspects fight league that y'all got that you in.
Oh yes, sir. Shout out to the Usual Suspect 6. Shout out to Jay Steele. Shout out to 503. Shout out to Cadillac Red. Shout out to Ag Reacher. Shout out to KG. And shout out to Stay Ready Boxing. There's a fight league amongst the brothers in the LDBC. It's a US 6 fight league. It's a paid entry to get in. It's a camaraderie amongst, everybody who's in there. We have our own group chat and everything. So every week when there's a fight, we all get the fight cards and we pick to see who's gonna win the fights. Now, it's not based upon, I got Boots over Stanionis. Is how you get more points on how you see the victory going. Do you have Boots by UD? Some have Boots by split decision. Conor will have Boots winning by a 5th round knockout. And if you can predict how the fight happens, that's how you get more points. So it makes it very challenging, and it makes everybody have to do their homework. For me, I picked Boots by split decision. I thought Stanionis was going to come in there, and give Boots a tough fight and be a little controversial. Boots proved me wrong. Boots said, this fool ain't even on my level. Let me show you. Oh, you mad because I'm styling on you. That's how Boots did Stanionis. You dig what I'm saying? So, so you get points for picking the right fighter, but you get extra points for picking how they win. You know what I mean? So some folks pick Stanionis to win. I ain't gonna say no names now. Some folks pick Stanionis to win. Some people, like the last fight, some people thought that the Herkovich was gonna lose to Joe Joyce. Some folks picked Joe Joyce. I picked Herkovich. So it's very fun. It's good camaraderie. So shout out to the US 6, and this is gonna go all the way until I think June or July, and then there's a reward at the end. Whoever has the most points and whoever's leading in the tournament. I think right now, I think Cadillac Red is winning right now, and I think Jay Steele's number 2. So yeah, man, it's pretty fun and it's good camaraderie amongst everybody.
All right, and if you're anyone who's interested, part of the LDBC that's interested, y'all go to Cadillac Red's channel, which is Supreme Beats Boxing. Support the brothers, man. They got something fun going over there. I love it. Salute the Big Red host of Big Boy Talk, and salute to Mark Pinkerton. First time me seeing you here, brother, but I appreciate you. He said Boots versus T.O. should be next. Lenio versus Lenio, and we'll bring some casual eyeballs. Similar to Arrow versus Mikey. Spence profile blew up after that fight. Boots needs the casual eyes. Star in the making. Okay.
Honestly, I don't think T.O. will draw like that to keep it a buck, but that's just my opinion, I don't think T.O. will fight anyway to keep it a buck. I don't think he'll do that.
T.O. was supposed to fight Ryan. T.O. was supposed to fight Boots. T.O. was supposed to fight a bunch of folks. T.O. trying to build himself. Like he told Terrence Crawford after his racial stuff, I'm just trying to, it's just boxing. So he ain't trying to fight nobody. So it's more if you're talking about the same casual fans, Virgil Ortiz is right there. Virgil is way bigger than Tio, and that's a more realistic fight. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, Tio ain't gonna do it. It sounds good, but Tio ain't gonna want
And not only that, but T.O. duck dipping and dream handling like the plague when they were at lightweight. And
Yes.
T.O. don't want no smoke.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he don't. But so shout out to Big Reg, man. I believe Friday, him and JD6 had a live on his show, Big Boy Talk. They had me on there. We were talking about how the black community can improve, stop hurting themselves. So y'all, please support the brother. He said, appreciate your channel, man. I thank you, man. We trying over here. We trying. Appreciate it. But moving on.
More than trying, bro. You doing the damn thing. But continue.
I know, Negro. I know. I'm just trying to be.
to.
What's the word?
Oh,
Humble.
real quick to anybody who has kids in college, to anybody who has kids playing college sports or just a regular student, there is a lot of free um programs out there. If your kid is having struggle, if your kid needs to talk to somebody, if they're having thoughts of harming themselves, there's plenty of free programs. There's free therapists on site. If you play football, you have your team counselors, you have your team chaplain. There's somebody you can talk to. I was having a little hard time in college. I talked to the team chaplain and talked to a therapist on campus. So, whether you play sports or not, there's always free there's always free programs for kids to talk to in college. There's always somebody listening. There's some teachers who are cool, but there's also free counseling programs on site too. I know some schools you get free health care, so there's always an avenue. In worst case scenario, you have the suicide hotline you can call to. So my bad, go ahead. Just want to throw that out there.
No, that's good information, man. Lot of kids need this, man. Especially, see, a lot of people believe that between that 15 to 21 age or 22 age demographic, um, that the kids, they grown, they don't need no guidance. That's the biggest lie that was told. A lot of these kids are dealing with emotional and mental issues, and they still need help, even at a young adult. So
Hell,
that's good information.
there's even adults who still need help. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
there's
I was
no even for adults, there is plenty of programs through your job. You can talk to HR. You can take time, but there's sabbatical leave. There's whatever. There's plenty of ways you can make it happen. Obviously, we all deal with different stresses in our life. Some of us hold it in. Some of us, just lash out and make things harder for ourselves. But this also through your job. There's programs. There's mental health is definitely a conversation now. So, if you there's I know coworkers who take mental health days where they don't even work on Fridays or Mondays. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there you and that all that's happening through them having a conversation, which you can't nothing can happen to you if you're having mental health issues. As long as you have a doctor's note, as long as you talk to HR and do that, you can get all the help you need, and they're willing to provide that for you. Because the last thing an employer wants is somebody to go crazy on their job and now they're liable for it. So there's always help out there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all, man, this is good. This is good game. Big Joe's providing. I hope y'all listening. So I'm sure, heck, listening. At my job, when I don't feel I'm feeling mentally drained, and I don't feel up to it, I definitely take a mental health break. Definitely. So I hope y'all listening. But we gonna switch the gears, man, to the final topic, man. The laughable Rooney Rule, and me and Coach said we was gonna do a topic attacking this uh, this issue that's been going on in the NFL about this Rooney Rule. Uh, well, you see countless of black head coaches. Well, first of all, they're hired when the franchise is at the state where um, it needs time to be rebuilt. Then when it's glad the year before the team could be 1-10 or just have a crappy record, and they expect um the black coach to build the franchise in no matter what, a year or two, um and they just get rid of him. Or what they do is they hold the coach in place um, for a year, and just to find someone else to take over the following year.
Like a bridge coach or something like that.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, you see Brian Flores in the picture, but last year you had what was the former linebacker for the Patriots? But he was a coach. I'm blanking on his name.
Gerard Mayo.
Rod Mayo, man, come on, get that man enough time. Antonio Pierce, which, in my opinion, I thought he had a decent go of it his first when he took over. Mid-year, was it 2023? He took over.
Yeah, he was an interim coach. He took over the coach that got fired, and they were more competitive too. But last year, I don't know what happened.
So that's why we lot of black folks
ain't got no quarterback. That's what happened.
Right, and
right.
You hear a lot of other races. Why black people? And we're talking about in the football aspect. Why are they belly aching about race? Well, this is what we seeing. A lot of us have eyes, and a lot of us are not stupid. Coach, I'm going to you first. What's your opinion on this laughable Rooney Rule?
Man, I'm gonna keep it all the way funky. Initially, it was a good idea, kind of equivalent to affirmative action, from the standpoint of, in many instances, organizations would hire head coaches, and they wouldn't even interview black head coaches whatsoever. So initially, it was a situation where black coaches weren't even get interviewed, and it ended up being a good thing. It was a good thing initially, and what would happen is you would have, just say for example, I was the coach, and I would get an interview for one team, and I would get an interview for another team. Then after a certain amount of interviews, eventually I would end up becoming a head coach. But then it devolved to the point where it ended up being just another hurdle for owners to climb, from the standpoint of what they would do is they would just hire, I'm not just interview a black candidate just to say we did it, and really had no intentions on actually hiring that person. And if we look at the instance of Antonio Pierce and Gerard Mayo, you might hire that guy for a year and then hire the guy you really want, and it ended up being like a stopgap solution. My issue with the Rooney Rule, if you had coaches like Eric Bieniemy, like Leslie Frazier, if those guys were white coaches, I guarantee you I'll be willing to put my bottom dollar on it. There'll be a head coach in the NFL as we speak. So the fact that Leslie Frazier is not a head coach in the NFL, and Eric Bieniemy is not a head coach in the NFL, it's strictly and solely due to race. If you look at certain coaches, just say I'm an offensive coordinator, and a team wins the Super Bowl and they do record numbers, whatever the case may be, right? If it's a white offensive coordinator, that winning the Super Bowl is going to be a gateway to becoming a head coach. Hey, they did great. The offense put up NFL records in terms of scoring and passing and woo. It's going to lead to that guy becoming a head coach. Whereas if you got a black offensive coordinator and they win a Super Bowl, they attribute it to the quarterback. Like for example, Byron Leftwich was a offensive coordinator when the Bucs won the Super Bowl. They didn't attribute it to Byron Leftwich being a good offensive coordinator. They attributed it to Tom Brady. And I'm not saying Tom Brady wasn't a great quarterback that year. The point I'm trying to make is, had it been a white OC, that would have been a gateway to that particular OC becoming a head coach. And not only that, but they did, we talked about this a while back where, they looked at the analytics and it was saying how, in terms of the white coaches, they was showing how certain positions, certain coaches become head coaches. Usually it's coordinators, the vast majority, and they broke it down from an analytics standpoint. The vast majority of coordinators, be it offense or defense, are black. Not only that, they talked about a lot of times guys don't even have to be coordinators. Typically positions that white coaches coach and white players play, like offensive line, like linebackers, whatever the case may be. Usually, those guys also become head coaches without even having to become coordinators. And whereas your position coaches that are black, typically because you have black players in those positions, whether it's running back, wide receiver, defensive backs, those guys never become head coaches. So the Rooney Rule at this point, I hate to say it, it's laughable. Initially, I think it was good in premise, but at this point, it is devolved and is essentially a joke. And it's just another hurdle for ownership in the NFL to skirt around. And in many instances, you just become a token interview. And I'm not gonna lie, there have been instances where I'll go on interviews, and I know by 14 years of coaching experience as a football and basketball coach, 14 years of experience as a physical education teacher and a health teacher. In many instances, I'm by far the most qualified person, and they just interview the black guy just to say, hey, we interviewed him, and we hired a white guy with far less experience. So at the end of the day, I think the Rooney Rule has kind of devolved into that.
I agree. And Autism Boy, I know I shouted you out, but salute. Appreciate you, man. Always supporting. But Big John, I'm going to you. What's your opinion on this Rooney Rule?
I'll just break it down like this. You can't make nobody hire who they don't want to hire. We all know the NFL is a good old boy network. I know there's some instances where, like the Washington Redskins and even the Denver Broncos, they have minority owners, and stuff like that. But majority owners of the NFL are white. And this is the good old boy network, and they're gonna hire who they want to hire. You know what I mean? So you can't make nobody hire nobody that they don't want to. Now, the Rooney Rule was good because it worked for the Steelers. You have Mr. Rooney, who is, an equal opportunist. You want, to give everybody a chance, to fulfill their goal and do their job. Every NFL team ain't like that. You have the instance to where you have, like, the Dallas Cowboys has never had a black head coach. Do you ever think that Jerry Jones wants to have a black head coach? Absolutely not. He's dealing with the fact that he has a black quarterback, but it's a little softer because Dak Prescott don't like girls that look like him. But anyway, it would come to the point to where now it's a laughing stock to where it's like a quota thing. Okay, we need to interview 5 black head coaches to make it worthwhile. That's why. What was it like? Who was it? One of the black coaches? Oh yeah, the brother who AG who got hired by the Jets. He said, "I'm not interviewing for that job." It's right. They asked him to interview for the Patriots. He said, "No, I'm not doing it because you don't want to hire me. I already know who you want to hire. You're trying to meet that quota." So now it's getting to the point to where now guys are just laughing at it because there's no real merit behind it. It's a good idea when you have all the owners who believe in equal opportunity, and that's not the case. They ain't gonna hire who they want to hire. Again, Gerard Mayo is Super Bowl champion for the Patriots. He's talking about the Patriot way. He knows the Patriot way. No, that's not good enough. We want Mike Vrabel instead. Gerard Mayo played linebacker as well, like Mike Vrabel. He won Super Bowls. He was a Pro Bowl. It was different. He's actually a better player than Mike Vrabel. We want Mike Vrabel instead. So it's just that when you're trying to get sponsors, when you're trying to make TV deals, a lot of times the head coach is in the room too when they have that conversation. Is that conversation easier to have if you have somebody who like Mike Vrabel or somebody who may look like Michael Vick? And I say Michael Vick, Michael Vick, have the braids and he from Norfolk, Virginia, and want that, or do you want to have somebody like Mike Vrabel in the room? It's easier to have those good old boy conversations when you got somebody who look like that, in the room. So it's unfortunate, but yeah, it's a laughing stock. There's plenty of good coordinators who never got a head coaching job. Eric Bieniemy is one of them. They always say Eric Bieniemy is hard to get along with. He's an a-hole. Well, so was Bill Parcells. So was also Bill Belichick. You know what I mean? So was also
Tom Coughlin.
I heard that Harbaugh's hard to get along with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whatever issue you can say about him, you can say about another coach. Somebody who should be a head coach is also Deuce Staley. Deuce Staley is a running back who was assistant coach here, and he should be a head coach. I heard that he's a phenomenal coach. He's not getting an opportunity. Brian Leftwich should be a head coach somewhere. He's not getting that opportunity. Hell, he had to go to Colorado because Deion Sanders had to see the talent in him. You know what I mean? So, and shout out to Deion. He's putting on a lot of coaches. He's getting a lot of former NFL players and making them coaches. They're gonna say shout out to Deion. You dig what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, it's just what's the brother Todd Bowles is on like his second opportunity. Shout out to him. Is the only one that we have that had longevity is Mike Tomlin. And Mike Tomlin, when you hear him talk, you understand why he's a head coach. He's a leader of men. You dig what I'm saying? So, but it's the fact that these other coaches, they can get fired, then get hired next. How you gonna be fired as a head coach over here, but then you get hired as a head coach over here? That make no sense. Pete Carroll is a head coach. He had a catastrophe when he left the Seahawks, but he's now a head coach of the Raiders. You know what I mean? So, and as a former Raider fan, I love Antonio Pierce. You talking about embodying the Raider way? Not only was he a hard-nosed player who won a championship, the players were responding to him. When you got Max Crosby responding to him, you want to keep that guy there. But if you don't give him a quarterback, and then use the excuse that he's not winning, that's the issue that we have. So again, we have mostly black coaches. They get the worst jobs. They build up the program, get fired, and then they hand the keys over. To a white head coach, a la John Gruden and Tony Dungy. So, anyways, it's unfortunate. Rooney Rule is disgusting, but it's the NFL, aka the Good Old Boy Network.
Well said, man.
And I don't mean to pick on my brother Big Joe. It's all love. But even somebody like Bobby Petrino. I think Bobby Petrino would have been black, he'd got a head coaching job in the NFL. Into his L.
Hell, hey, I'll even pick you on that. Charlie Strong. Charlie Strong built that Texas program at UT. How you see it now? He was the foundation that now the head coach now is standing on. If it wasn't for him getting that program off the ground, because what's the brother name who got the head coach, the white dude who got fired? He went to North Carolina. Mac Brown was there. The Texas program was a laughing stock. Here come Coach Strong, getting recruits from Florida, getting recruits from Texas, getting dogs in there. Hell, when they talk about firing Charlie Strong, the team was going to protest. The team was going to protest about the head coach. He's getting through to him. Then again, a lot of boosters didn't want Charlie Strong there because why? Because he's black.
Mm-hmm.
So, and y'all ain't got like or not. That's the truth. A lot of boosters did not want him to be there. A lot of boosters were upset, were outspoken to the point where they had to apologize and say, "Oh, we love Charlie Strong. We want him to be there," only to fire him 2 or 3 years later. But that's pretty much how black coaches are treated in a nutshell all over the country.
And you can't call what Big Joe saying is false, because this gentleman on the panel right now had conversations with Charlie Strong and been in his presence. So the truth is the truth. Go ahead, Coach.
And I was just gonna kind of piggyback, and we can give multiple examples like Notre Dame, even though now they kind of mended their ways at one point, the situation with Tyron Willingham, them not really wanting him. So, that's why when I did a video talking about how, as a HBCU graduate and alum, like I'm anti white coaches getting head coaching jobs at HBCUs or even like AD positions, whatever the case may be. The reason being is because those jobs are so sparse in terms of having black head coaches in the NFL and in NCAA just in general. Like, not on that, but you're going to bring white coaches over to the HBCU realm. It's like you even taking even more black, head coaching jobs from black coaches or even AD position from black administrators. So at the end of the day, that's why I was kind of always anti that. And like we said, the Rooney Rule is a joke. And it's not just that in the NFL. It's like that in all sports, in all actuality, truthfully speaking, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, you're right. And JB, we didn't hear anything from you. What's your opinion on the Rooney Rule?
Yeah, I'm just gonna piggyback off the brothers, man. Just loves listening to them cook. But like Big Joe said, man, what they're doing with the Rooney Rule, right? They're either bringing them in, right, and then they're not getting the job, or they're hiring them and put them in bad positions. And some of them, just like Big Joe and Coach just said, they're actually building the program to be better. Once the program gets off their feet, then they're bringing in the coach that they want. You see what I'm saying? Like Tony Dungy did with the Bucks, and then Tony Dungy so damn good of a coach, he still won a Super Bowl with the Indianapolis Colts. You know what I'm saying? I know this is NBA. What's your boy name? He when the Golden State was mediocre. I know
Mark Jackson, then they brought in Steve Kerr, and he got all the credit. Mark Jackson drafted Steph Curry, drafted Klay Thompson, drafted Draymond Green, built the nucleus, and then they let him go and bring in Steve Kerr, who won the championship. So yeah, I know all about it.
They did. Yeah, they did the same thing with their brother in Memphis. Memphis is terrible. Because even though the last coach got fired was white, he was actually a good coach. So Memphis just I wouldn't get a job from Memphis. But back to the NFL. That's what they do. That's what they do. It's just one of them things where I'm glad, like Big Joe said, like some of these coaches, like, no, I'm not doing no interview with y'all. I'm actually going to, spaces where I can actually improve and, build a program, help build a program. So I want to say I'm happy that some of these brothers actually starting lower. You know what I'm saying? They're starting lower or taking coordinator positions like Eric Bieniemy had to do, at UCLA. Man, I can't wait to see how Jackson, Deshaun Jackson, and Mike Vick do. I'm rooting for them brothers, man. Watch the shout out to you, Jared. You staying on top of them with the videos. Look like he's got them boys ready to play. So does Deshaun Jackson. So I'm already feeling for the new football season. The only thing that's quenching my thirst right now is UFL. Watching them brothers play, watching them brothers still live out their dream. But otherwise, from that, man, the Rooney Rule is a joke.
And J6 said, hopefully DeMarco Ryans can be the next Mike Tomlin and so forth. If the Texans smart, they'll hang on to DeMarco Ryans. DeMarco Ryans is an awesome coach. D'Amico, excuse me. And Memphis man Anthony Bolton said, he's up on the Grizzlies now. That white man was underachieving.
Before y'all, I just want to say this. When y'all had that brother hired, Lyle Hollins, Coach Hollins, I forgot his first name.
Lionel
Man, when y'all
Oliver,
had Zach Randolph, and Mike Conley and them boys, y'all got rid of Marc Gasol. Y'all got rid of them. The Grizzlies, man. I just not a fan of how they do their management, bro. Sorry about that, brother.
yeah, man. But yeah, the Rooney and Big Joe brought. I'm gonna bring this up when we're gonna wrap it up, fellas. Big Joe brought up a point where actually we can maybe not solve the issue, but we can help these black coaches out. Like what Dion is doing, he's bringing in Marshall Falk, Brian Leftwich. They brought in Warren Sapp, and he improved. Warren Sapp, just his first year, improved a defensive line. The defense wasn't great, but that defensive line was hunting.
That was way better than what they was the first year.
He just got the Polynesian cat. You know, he's a D line
Tico
coach
from
over there.
I know who that. He used to terrorize my Ravens in the
Yeah,
middle.
with the Bengals. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. So stuff like that, man. I think a lot of the brothers need to get these head coaching jobs at these, whether it's FCS or FBS schools, and just bring on fellow coaches, man, that has a thirst to coaching kids, man, and just do it there, and then with years of doing that, and have a whole bunch of black coaches that are very qualified, they can't deny us. They cannot deny those brothers.
Hey, brother, everything you just talking about is the coaching tree. They always brag about the Mike Holmlin coaching tree, the Bill Belichick coaching tree. That's all that is them putting them folks on, teaching them the game, and them having them get opportunities. That's all that is. That's all coaching has ever been. You can get a job based upon not your skill set, but who you know. That's why certain coaches can go anywhere they want because of the coaching tree. If you get fired over here, you used to be in the recruiting room with so and so he gonna bring you in over here. That's why you always see coaches getting jobs. You know what I mean? So then now the younger coaches who used to be with the OGs, when the OGs want a gig, they'll hire them as a defensive specialist or offensive specialist or whatever. You know, it's just how it is. So Dion is creating his coaching tree. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that coaching tree. Yeah, that's why if John Harbaugh gets fired from the Ravens, which is not gonna happen, he just got an extension. He can get another job if he wants it because he come from a coaching tree. Then he come from
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid's coaching tree. Yeah. Anthony Bolton said, "Joe, did you call the Bengals the Mangles?"
I didn't say that. I said the Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, Memphis, Maine. All right, there you go. Okay.
All right. But anything else y'all want to say regarding the Rooney Rule or anything else y'all just want to flat out say before we wrap it up?
Nah, that's it for me, bro.
No, I think that's it for me, fam.
JB, you good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. We cooked on that.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, man. We appreciate everybody who tuned in to us. You know, just chopping it up. Big Joe, let everybody know where they can meet you and see you, man.
Yes, sir. You can catch me on all LDVC platforms, showing love to the brothers and sisters. Dig what I'm saying? You can catch me right here. You can catch me on Coach's channel. You can catch me on 78. Catch me on the usual suspects. You can catch me on Drew Titan. You can catch me showing love in the comments. Dig what I'm saying? Salute to the mighty LDVC And everybody, hey, only tip I got for you is if you need help and need somebody to talk to, there's always somebody available. If they're not nowhere in your family, they got plenty of hotlines, they got plenty of programs to where whatever help you need, you can find it. Y'all take care of yourself, health as well. No matter how much money you got, you're not around here to spend it. It don't mean nothing. Y'all be easy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And of course, again, salute to the mighty LDBC. Always supporting each other. We appreciate it. Coach, please let everybody know where they can meet you and see you.
Well, you can catch me at Coach 67 Sports TV on all social media platforms, on X, which is formerly known as Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. As like one of the kids in my class would say, Tiki Talk. Anyway, IG, wherever. However, I'm primarily here on YouTube, covering Southern University. It was yesterday. Yesterday was Southern University 2025 Blue versus Gold spring game. Epic event. Come over to my channel, check it out. Y'all have a blessed and phenomenal evening. I'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace and blessings. And salute to the awesome and amazing LDBC. Yeah, they got.
Yes, sir. And before I go to JB to take us home, just want to say again, you'll catch us every Sunday. Hopefully every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Also, my other two shows, the Black Man Perspective, we try to have them Saturday morning when everybody's schedules um, um, are matching or open with the General 78 Sports TV and Coach and myself. And also, we're trying to do more content for the HBCU Fanatic show. We did one show yesterday. Please check that out when you have a chance. Appreciate all the support. JB, any lasting words to take us home?
No, man, this is another good show, man, and very, very deep show. And I hope people just listen, man. We're a sports show, but it's good to have shows like this, man, when we talk about mental health, man. And, what's important, because everybody need help. The draft is coming up. Me and Jared may pop up on a Friday. Look at some people we've been scouting. We might do uh, uh, a mock draft since everybody's doing one. Have like we did last year. Probably we'll do the top one or two, maybe to five. Well, everybody is going to pick a player that each of their team should pick, including Joe and and Coach with the Saints and the Las Vegas Raiders, and me and Jared with the Ravens. So keeping an eye on that. We may pop out on y'all with that, but other than that, y'all have a blessed weekend, man. Well, rest of y'all weekend and have a blessed work week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So this was another installment of the Southern Baller Show. Y'all be blessed.